Okay, I'm back. Sorry. I had to get another cup of tea. You know, one of those things that sorry. I'm okay. I needed water. But I was gonna say, you know, tea is one of the only things that makes life bearable. So I had to get, you know, tea, Morrowind, kitties. So the only thing that make life good. And I started coughing for some reason. I think I was just thirsty. But yes, now I'm back. For the record, no, my favorite game from Morrowind, Planet Site, VR chat, with one shooter thing. I got all the quests. And I think I said VR chat. But anyway, yes. Then we'll be doing some things. Trying to do the business with, again, the Landsoccer to get my implants charged. Because by default, they are not charged. Let me. Oh no! Oh no! Oh! Oh no! I cannot believe that happened. That was fabulous. I guess they didn't mind listening to me. Oh no! Let's make them. Yeah, I'll make them go away. Yeah, I forgot about the DwemerNightTerrors. They killed me. And I made them. I created them. And they killed me. And oh no. This is really bad. Okay, I'm gonna have to reload. I basically died. But anyway, I'll tell you a bit more. So, just gonna tell you about a mod feature when that happened. So, it's about this ring. See all these rings? These are option rings. And the way it works is like, this. Like, I don't really have a weapon right now, so it's hard to see. Yeah, it's even harder. You don't even start with a weapon. Let's see. Maybe I'll use this as a substitute. Which just, you know. No, this one. Actually, I'm just doing this to demonstrate to my viewers. So, I'm gonna cheat before I reload. So, let's do this. Okay, now you can finally see my weapon. Anyway, let's just show you how these rings work. They work in a kind of weird way. So for example, this is like the options ring right here. And it enables and disables all these other option rings. Like this. You disable and enable things by drawing and sheathing your weapon. Like this. That's how that works. So for example, you want to turn off the command top assassin, you do it like this. You put it on and sheath your weapon, they're enabled. But if you drop the weapon, wait a little while, they're disabled. And then when you get the results you want, just take the ring off. And then increase your visual space like this. Anyway, I just wanted to show that for a while. Other thing, these implants from DwemerNightTerrors, they are not enabled by default. You have to charge them or else they won't work. And you have to go to a special pot while wearing a special bracelet and use specific ingredient. That's the only way to make them work. And I will give you a demonstration shortly. Anyway, I'm reloading now. See what happens. So, we can't get there. What will the guard help us? Okay. So, guess it's time to try and help the merchant or weapon. No, this does not look good. Now this here spell. Well, this is our best one. My drink, fatigue. So, I think we should try to run to the lighthouse. Guard, are you sure about this? Are you gonna help me? Guard? Looks like the guard is gonna make a heroic sacrifice. Alright, let's get to the lighthouse. We have a friend in there who might help us. Oh no. That was a bad idea. Okay, gonna be more careful this time with my fatigue, which is until I can hide in containers or climb trees. I'll have very low fatigue. Have the super beat spell. Just gonna have to try it like this. Oh, barely got up there. Okay. Yes, get me out of here. Thank you.
Identify yourself.
I hope I have enough gold. Excellent. Please, get me away from the thing. Get me away. Oh no. Let's try again. This is brutal, as intended.
Yes?
Oh wait. Better. There we go. Come on. Wait.
Huh.
Oh, thank you. Got me out of there. I hope I don't die this time.
I won't waste my time on the likes of you.
That makes me sad. That's not nice. Oh, just in time. Okay. Going this way. Or we lose visibility. Only thing keeping us alive. I should turn the volume off. Might be lower than intended. There we go. Not gonna look anything. That could make me become visible. That's not safe. Well, I can get weapons from them. Oh, Wait, do you not care anymore? Oh no. Stay away. Hey. Yikes, yikes. Give me your stuff. Thank you. Can I carry away? Hey, where? Hello? Don't know. Yeah, over and under. Like I thought. Definitely can carry both. Don't know why. Weigh so much. Well, what artifice is that? That? Oh, I see. See? Bang it up. Yeah, I don't want to stop through. Let's see. Gonna go and study. Come here. Put your stuff. These crabs are so terrible. Okay. Now somewhere to drop my stuff. All the stuff. It's heavy. Oh, my strength is lower. No wonder. Oh wait. I should not pick that up. Okay. Not see. Just a few. 3. Oh wait. I just remembered. Oh! Haven't I? This will help a lot. I should say. There we go. Let's see. Here. That's here. Equip this. Oh, so tiny. Hard to pick up. Let's see. Get some these. I got these later. They're a little heavy. I get a few of these. Not too many. Okay. Here's the can't travel to B. Get that. Okay. Gonna put traps in. Let's see. I have a pretty good weapon. I love crossbow. My fatigue so low. I should do business first. I really should live in so I can sit there, stop. Let's see. I mean, this is really hard. Gotta do as many things as we have available. You know, so I don't lose when they despawn. Let's see. Oh no. Should I? Oh no. All I can do is run. I can't wait. It's not good. You know, Rusty makes the assassin show up. Also waking up hungry. It's not good. So we have to get back to the ship. Oh no, I'm scared. Let's try. Let's use our big spell. Wow, that worked. Right now we're low, harmless. Blood crops are dangerous. Okay. Yikes. should eat it. Actually, because we have the hunger mud, we could die for not eating them. Let's see what else. Are you thirsty? Yes. Oh yes, I forgot. Need to keep buying with it. Yikes. Why is it not showing up? Oh wait. Maybe that's not something I need. Oh well, shit. Be careful. Forgot to eat the butt crap that we killed. Okay. Oh yeah. We're so slow starting out. There's some really nice starter weapons. We'll try to get. Oh, that's really good. That's too heavy. Other guards to the oh, okay. Yikes. I should just run. Okay. I think we got all the guard. We should save that thing. Well, almost all the guard. Oh no. Yikes. I'm scared. The mud crab. That's Got a hit. Oh no. Oh no. Gonna hit. Oh, he died. So much time passed. It was nighttime. It's getting late. We have to run inside. Wait till it's up. Back. Back. What are we doing? Oh no! The lantern saved me. Damn, those snakes are deadly. Come on, please lock door. Gotta make sure there's not a single lock. Except for that one. Okay. Has to be just one sword. Stone light. I think there's another lock here somewhere. Oh yeah, hate you. This is like the worst time. Much time left on my lantern, which is bad. I really am curious why the door is not locking. Like, supposed to. It works outside of this building. Not inside. Okay, alternate plan. We're gonna get a lot of these. Go inside. And once you leave, your performance should increase. Keep in mind, My computer's buried behind the time. I like finished making this mod on the computer that's probably dying. Like it will turn off when I'm sleepy. And it's not a setting even. More like, you know, like the monitor turns off, and the only way to turn it back on is just starting the computer. Oh no. Gotta go back. We'll see what happens. Okay. I mean, honestly, the most important thing are the sword. The parasitic claymore. That's like self-important. And the scrap metal. Let's try to fix. There we go. Oh no, stay here. I know this sound. Stay away. Oh, that was horrifying. Okay. Let's switch back to our one-hander. We need a lot of these. By the way, a lot. We are almost over encumbered.
I won't waste my time on the likes of you.
So we need like 50 of our strength metal. Okay. Please. Gonna have to go outside for a second. Oh. I need this. I gotta trouble carrying this. Okay. I'm gonna drop these out. Pass. Do this for a second. Stay away, crap. Building up navigation mesh. Takes a little while, especially in a saucer, admittedly. It's a little bit GPU intensive, and it gets better when you fix it. Alright, we're gonna be waiting for a little while. Ah, there we are. It's kind of longest on our lantern. Okay, not too bad. Let's bring our scrap metal over. Down. Okay. A few more. Around 7. Grab a few more. Yikes.
Get out of here!
Hello? I'm sorry. My friend. Okay. We need one more. No! That was a mistake. You just one more. Here we go.
I won't waste my time on the likes of you.
Excellent. Finally, we did it. That was very hard. Let's say. Hello? Good thing we stayed. Because this is not easy, like, at all. Especially with the zombie, as it makes it super hard. Just brutal. Alright, my fatigue's really low. I need to fight them. And there's zombies out there. And this can't be long. I don't know what to do. Look at our options. Yeah, I have fear. I can try that. I can try that. I'll try that. Several.
There she is.
Yikes! Stay up there. Maybe I should just run. Psych. Wait. Let's try this. Shall we get one?
She's over here. Seize her.
Oh, these guards are so hard. Maybe this will be about Roslyn. Actually, I'm gonna try something else. Gotta stay completely still, and I can't sleep because of the assassin. Gonna be a little while. I'll have to pee. Come back out. I'm sure to be using past weapon version, and I didn't realize it. But oh well. There were complaints about weapon speed, so I made a slow weapon and a fast weapon version. It's gonna take a while to get my fatigue. Just gotta be patient. Sit down. My sneak skill is not high enough to hide in container. Yeah, and that makes you regenerate fatigue. So do trees. If you can get the cloth off, the cloth. I need those. They're so close. Keep that off until they show up again. Let's see. This here, and have this here. See? That was a close one. But we scared them off. Not a safe night. It's never a safe night. I guess we better bring the ladder out. Okay, yeah. One trick is you can switch between your shield and your light. That's what I'm doing right now. I guess I should say I'll just use this forcing for now. Oh yeah, you use this to charge your upper bike battery, but we don't have stuff we need yet. Yikes. Thank you for warning me. Our friend just growled at the zombie. Or not. Very nice. So, I know that plant. It's very valuable. We should steal it. Wait, we might get in trouble. No, let's not do that. Will this give us our magic back? Let's see. Then our full fatigue. Let's see if we can deal with it. Finally, it worked. That makes us a lot. Situation. Looking up, sort of. Okay. I mean, we're supposed to read, but yeah, instant magic soon. Okay. Magic though. Okay. Those warning bro. Hope alive. Things will look up when we have our implant and our beloved friend, Sashandra. That favors. Maybe that will help us make things. Oh wow. He did things from zombie apocalypse. And just so you know, do not leave anything important in this interior because it vanishes forever when you fix it, technically. Comes a new interior. It'll soon be time to head out. Battlefield. Investigating. Imperial. Who are too nosy for their own good. Okay. No, that really. Oh! This will help. I'm thinking. What are things we got going for us this time? I am an enchanter. So, use this. Yikes. Okay. There we go. 1, 2, 3.
See what you're made of. Seize her! She's over here!
Yikes. Maybe you should try sword and bar. Maybe it'll work better. At least we have our fatigue now.
Seize her!
Yes, coming. No. Okay. So we're just gonna keep going until we get lucky. Eventually, we'll get lucky as well. And a lucky too. Yeah, every time we take it there. Yes, we have to save Scott through this.
You make this choice. Enjoy this. Grab her. Seize her.
I've always wondered, what if we try to run away? But, you know, we don't have stuff to do that yet. And we can't use the stun run. Yeah? Well, we'll try again. No, we don't need that. No option 3. You shoot by accident. Alright, let's go.
Give me what you're made of.
Come here.
Seize her.
Let's see. And we can't run fast enough to kite them yet. Let's see. Let's just try to shoot them. Get them sharp as high as possible. Okay. Simply shooting. Go away.
What are you waiting for? You'll pay for that!
We got one. It's working. We just gotta do better. Three on one. A level 1. Not easy.
Let's see what you're made of. You'll seize her. What are you waiting for? Come and get me. You won't find me such easy.
So close. box yet? We just didn't like to see it. That's not good. I have a disease. I didn't even know that. Okay. Let's do this.
What you're made of. There, grab her. Seize her.
Actually, maybe we should try to run away. Let's see. We used to have... Oh, this is low right now. Let's see. I am really low. Oh.
There she is.
This is very hard. Especially because we can't level up. Any of our things that would help us. Too slow. Let's try and get lucky with our blocks.
There she is. Grab her.
I mean, if it weren't for this long, we could just level up, but then say to me.
Surrender now and I might let you live. Grab her. She's over here. You fight like a coward. Delaying the inevitable.
Let's try running away. No more being brave. Don't be brave. Don't be brave. Run. Ah, maybe that's smart. Okay. Run. Just fight. Equip the death thing. Shaw. Actually, I think that's a better idea. And I need my seat. That will be them shortly. Alright, so we're not doing the brave way. We're gonna run. Fast. But they're super weak. distraction spell. I will be right back. You love and watch it.